Yeah, we're building to greatness, and it's going to be so great. But I often wonder, is this computer plugged in? And is this email, this is the website, is my agent's website, is that real? Or is it,
is it
just like,
hello?
Sometimes they'll turn your mic off.
Did you disconnect? What happened? I'm over here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Did you get my audition? I'm free all the time.
Saying that Dana Bauer is a busy person is a huge understatement. An accomplished voice actor, a busy musician, theater musician for the most part. She teaches music to students. This encompasses 7 days a week. So, until COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever, she was extremely busy and seemed to do it with great ease. I get to learn more about that, and I get to share it with you too. So check it out.
But It was just starting to ratchet up. Like, no, October, November, December. January.
Yeah.
I've had the busiest first week of January ever.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Things were cooking.
Yeah.
And then the COVID hit.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, look who I've got here. It's Dana Bauer from the San Francisco Bay Area, and kind of, sort of where I live, only about 100 miles south of here. So, hi, Dana.
Hi, Jan. And Facebook?
Yeah, or wherever this gets posted. It'll be, let's see, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever. You're going to be plastered everywhere, Dana.
Thank God. It's about time.
You're going to get plastered.
Bless you. I'm glad I had this special studio lighting put in. So, yay.
Right, you were saying earlier that you're going to be performing some optical surgery after this interview.
I like having the option. Yeah, if the mood strikes.
Now, you, of course, you're a voice actor. I've worked with you before. For those who don't know, which is probably everybody out there except for Dana and I met Dana while we were working at a very large tech company in Sunnyvale that begins with the letter G. We were working together in the same booth and trading lines and having fun. We had a great time, and I hope we can do that again, Dana. That was fun. But Dana, you are also a very accomplished musician, and so I see pictures of you like in the orchestra pit and stuff like that. That looks like so much fun. I mean, it
is so much fun.
Yeah.
I played mostly for theater, and it is so much fun.
That is cool. Are you just like, is there sort of a core group of orchestra musicians for the theater world that are kind of well known and get tapped for various positions, or do you have to go in and audition? I mean, is the auditioning process similar to what it's like for voiceover?
No, actually it was option A, what you just mentioned. It's a thing that there are no auditions for theater musicians. Which is, you just have to be known as somebody who plays theater, who likes to play theater.
Yeah.
If you're a woodwind player, you are somebody who like me, plays multiple instruments.
Right.
And theater's a weird animal. I think an audition really wouldn't work because I don't know how you'd have to audition people in a submarine, I guess, because you have to be used to and comfy with working in very tight spaces.
Yeah.
Very tight spaces in the dark. It's often loud. And it's the most fun. If you love it, it's the most fun, exciting thing ever. It's like when you get to act with other people. You get that amazing connection, and you're part of something as a whole. And it's also a lot. There are many opportunities to. I don't know. I think that I love other theater musicians. I mean, I love all musicians and all actors, but
Sure.
The theater musicians are a very special breed.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It looks. I played in a theater orchestra once in the pit, but it was in high school. It was our high school production of Grease, and I was the guitarist, and it was a blast, and it was so much fun. And you're right, we were really tight, our little combo of musicians down there, and so and the interaction with the stage actors when it could happen was really fun too. Not that happened very often, or at least not viewable to the audience, but Yeah, I can imagine that that is a really fun gig.
It is fun. It is fun. And you have to be okay with people not knowing what you do. And,
Right.
the audience, it's not that they're not there for you. They're there for the whole thing, and
Yeah.
you are a part of it. And
Yeah.
so, but it's a really magical thing. And I miss it. I feel like I had the last gig in town. I was playing a teeny tiny production of Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Okay.
And the last night, I think it was the Thursday, Hamilton got closed on Wednesday after the
Okay.
matinee. We came back, we were there on Thursday. I thought, well, we outlasted Hamilton. But it was like being in the string quartet on the deck of the Titanic.
Oh, because of COVID, because COVID was closing things down and
Yeah,
the theaters were shutting their doors and everything.
it felt weird. This was a theater that had 96 seats. So we,
Oh.
first, no gatherings of 1,000 people, then
Oh.
500 and 200. But 96, we're okay. We
Yeah.
might be back tomorrow. And then it was very clear, oh no, we're not going to be back tomorrow.
Oh.
It
Oh.
just, the whole thing felt weird. It was an honor to do, but I thought, yeah, we're about to play Nearer My God to Thee?
Wow.
Because
That's
that's what it
what.
feels like.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's wild. Now, so being a theater orchestra musician, as you said, being a multi-instrumentalist is very helpful. Helps you get gigs, I would imagine. So how many? You're a wind instrument player, I
Hmm.
believe, and so how many instruments are you proficient on, or feel comfortable performing in a live situation like that?
I play mostly oboe and English horn, clarinet, flute, saxophone. I play alto and tenor. I own a soprano, but I
Uh-huh.
don't play that much. And I also have a bass clarinet and a
I see.
piccolo that don't get used that much. I don't improvise. Theater is its own special thing. I do some orchestral work,
Okay.
and once in a while I get to back up a celebrity, which is super fun.
Oh, I
But
bet.
I like it. It's very similar to voiceover work.
Yeah.
Everything is audio. I've played about 1,000 performances of Wicked. I have never seen it. Like all the things that, because we were under the stage,
Yeah.
and it's like being a voice actor.
Yeah.
It's all theater of the mind.
Yeah, right. So you're only experiencing and heavily involved with one aspect, and and in very many cases a background element. Well, not I mean,
Right,
not that it's a background element, but it's like everybody's watching what's happening on the stage, or what would be on
right.
the screen for a lot of us. So,
And
wow.
it's like what we do. Like, you often, maybe when you're at the session, you know what the visuals are, and
Yeah.
sometimes they'll show them to you
Yeah.
when you're done.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Okay.
It's like,
So then let's I wanted to talk to you about that because I find that world fascinating. But now, how did you find your way into voiceover? I mean, did you have theater, like on stage experience? Was there acting along with music back in the day, or how did you make that happen?
there was some, but my father is also kind of an amateur actor, was at the time, and I was on a tour of Les Mis. I toured with one of the national Les Mis tours for a very long time. The long play version, the 3 hour, 20-minute version,
Wow.
the walking uphill in the snow 10 miles twice a day, that version.
Okay.
Which was fun, but I've been on the road. It was time to come, it's time to get off the road. And my
As a
father,
musician, you were in the
as a
orchestra.
musician,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I was in the orchestra, played oboe, great experience.
Oh.
But I was coming back to the Bay Area, and my father had been taking classes at Voice Tracks
Okay.
in Sausalito. And I thought, well, that sounds fun. I'm a musician. I have good ears. So I should be able to just, waltz right in and take over the town. Not so much. It takes a bit.
Does it? Oh.
I'll let you know when it happens. But that's how I got hooked. I started taking classes with Samantha Paris. Tom Chandler taught my very first class. Love Tom Chandler, and he is produced all my demos and has been a great friend and mentor, and he's just so smart, and so funny. And so that's how I got into it. And my father ended up doing more stage work.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we were never competing. I've never not gotten to live my dream of us being on the same session.
Right. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. That would be fun. That would be totally fun. Yeah. Well, what kind of work are you finding yourself being cast for a lot? I mean, obviously we were doing that thing down there in Sunnyvale, but what kind of things I mean, are you doing a lot of commercial work, or is it a lot of e-learning or other types of narration? What's your bread and butter?
My bread and butter, and I'm so superstitious about saying, oh, I do a lot of X, because then, the minute I say it, never get another one of those again. But
but it's okay. We're in the COVID time of life, and so not much of anything is happening for a lot of us. So you won't jinx anything. We're already jinxed.
Okay, if you say so. Blow the horn a couple of times just to make sure. But I've been doing a lot of political commercials and a lot of medical technical stuff.
Yeah.
Which those two don't really have that much to do with each other. But I love them both.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them both. I know there are a lot of people who don't like to do political stuff, and then they'll opt out if it's not for a candidate. And I totally respect that. But
sure.
I love the industry more than anything else. So and voters should always be informed. That's why I think. So I do a lot of those, and it's often very tight and last minute because all right, our polling's up, so they've authorized money for commercials. So can you be here at 3:00? Or that session you were going to have tomorrow, candidate's not doing so well, so that's off. But they're super fun.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of information that has to be in a very tight space.
Right.
So you have to be careful not to let it sound hysterical.
Right. Yeah.
But,
and you also have to
a lot of,
and you usually have to have some sort of twist of an attitude one way or another about it. So that kind of makes it interesting too.
A little bit. Yes. Often I can say it now. I love an attack ad more than anything else. I love.
That's so funny, because that is like the a disqualification line for a lot of voice actors. Is it an attack ad? Is it like yucky like that? Well, then I'm not going to do it. But you're cool with it.
I actually really enjoy it, because they're pretty gentle. Yeah. And actually, if you get too nasty, they'll pull you back.
Oh, okay.
And they'll say, oh, you know what? Our lawyers, we can't do this. So, but you have to get your attack in 30 seconds. Also paid for by the Citizens for Fairness Committee, or what, have to get it all in. So, I love those. And a couple of times I've been called in to do some opposition research things where it's actually, the ad goes against my personal beliefs. And as an actor, that's way more interesting.
Yeah, that can be. There have been a couple times where I voiced for a party or a politician that I was really, let's just say, not liking in the most gentle terms possible. But it's really, you just got to put it all aside and just play the part, and it can be a test, because it's so, you're so ingrained against this person or this ideology or whatever, that if you can just put it aside, just put it out of your mind and play the part, it's the whole game.
Now, did you know going in who it was for, or what it was for?
I could tell by the copy, because it was either an attack ad against their opponent in an election, even if the candidate themselves wasn't named outright, I could still tell. Yeah.
So would you ever get to the session and just say, oh no, I cannot do this?
No, but if I've committed to the session, generally I'll see the copy beforehand, because I'll ask. It's like, hey, well, let me see the copy. Let me see
Mm-hmm.
if I can pull this off. And if I've seen the copy and if I'm cool with it, go for it. Yeah, I'm there. If I'm there, I'm there. You know, I'm not going to back out last minute on a session because, you know, something gets my quills up. But I'm pretty thorough about getting everything up front and transparent and all that stuff. You know, I think you kind of have to be.
I think you kind of have to be, and do a lot of work for these two political ad companies. So I pretty much going in what they're going to do. It's probably, you know, if I got some random call for the pro baby seal clubbing party, yeah, you know,
That might
I'm
be
not
tough.
sure what I would do, because once you take the gig, you have to take the gig. I don't know if you watch, or any of your loyal fans watch, Mrs. Maisel, which I absolutely love.
Great show.
But
Great show.
there's a great, and you probably saw this last season where she's doing voiceover.
Yeah.
And they pay her in goods, which
oh, that's right.
That's fun.
That's right. That was hilarious.
That's fun. And but she's doing a commercial for. She's got this giant gig for Phyllis Schlafly, and she quits in the middle. And I thought, yeah, if I pulled that, I would have to change my identity, leave the state, and never speak again.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So, what kind of work would you like to do more of?
I'd love to do more funny things.
Yeah.
Don't get a lot of funny.
Yeah.
And boy, nowadays, I look forward to seeing funny copy. I've started to see glimpses of it.
Yep.
So which is good. I think that's a good sign for us all. I'd love to do funny things.
Yeah.
I would love to do big, you know, I'd like to, it's such a rich area. I mean, there's so much for us to do. I'd love to do all this e-learning that everyone seems to be talking about. You know, I instruct people several hours a day in things.
Oh, music lessons. Yeah.
Well, music lessons. So, but you know, and I mean, I guess the answer to the question is, what would I like to do more of? Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I've done some games before. And they were fun.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I would be happy to do more, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But the drier, the better.
Yeah.
I love
funny.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
dry humor.
Funny, or what other people don't really love. Like, I love the medical narration.
Oh, I see what you mean by dry. Yeah. Yeah.
Dry copy. Love that. I did my first batch of IVRs last year.
Oh, right.
It was so fun.
It is fun. I mean, it can be repetitious just in terms of how you're reading the copy and the messages, but it's, you know, it is fun. And so, like, I agree with you. Medical narration is fun. I've got a couple companies that I do their sales training for. So I'm helping their salespeople understand what they're selling. So it's medical, electronic, and mechanical kind of information all wrapped up into one. And I think it's fascinating.
It's fascinating, and you have to learn enough about it to sound
Yeah.
like you know what you're talking about.
Right.
Which is how I bluff my way through the rest of my life. barely know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It sounds convincing.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And of course, I think all of us voice talent, we either I have not wanted to do a movie trailer, but I mean, I could. I would not say no.
Right.
We all want to do, I think, deep down in our hearts, a Morning in America commercial. I mean,
Ooh.
That is not the sort of political commercials that I have gotten to do.
Uh-huh.
But wouldn't you love that? I mean,
yeah.
For somebody that you liked, maybe, I don't know. I don't
Sure.
even care at this point. But some beautiful, anthemic, gorgeous ad.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Okay, now bouncing off of that idea, if you had to choose a voiceover gig that you kind of put up there as part of your pinnacle, you know, your funnest experience, because it doesn't matter whether it was just a blast to do, or it was seen widely on TV, or heard on the radio, or it paid you a lot of money. Is there something that you think of as just like, oh, this was so awesome?
I have to say, the thing I did with you.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things that we did at mysterious things at giant tech company that we did, and we all signed much paperwork.
Yeah.
Saying we wouldn't talk about it.
Right.
And they kind of told us what it was for, but I'm thinking that probably wasn't it, because I wouldn't tell actors what I was doing.
Well,
anyway.
there's so much of what we do that's under NDA anyway. I mean, unless I specifically see something on YouTube or on TV or hear it on the radio, I'm not going to share it with anybody. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to brag about it, because it's under NDA. And, you know, same goes with a lot of auditions these days. They want you to sign an NDA for a stupid audition.
Which is fine. I totally get, but I think there are a lot of our colleagues who want to put everything on Instagram all the time, or YouFace, or, you know, whatever. But what I loved, why that jobs like that are so special to me, is because they're so much fun to do.
Yeah.
There's, you know, the creating them in the moment. I mean, it's all of what we do is fun.
Yeah.
There's some that are more fun than others, and some that are certainly less fun.
Yeah.
That you're just thinking, all right, I'm using all of my professional skills just to not walk out of here.
Right.
Those are very rare, you know, but it's good to have one every couple of years just to remind you.
Absolutely.
Keep it real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I love working with other actors.
Yeah. It's so much fun. And we don't get to do it nearly enough.
Yeah. And absent working with another actor, working with a real live director, which is transformative.
Yeah.
I've seen it playing with theater. I've seen some I've been lucky enough to be around like it during previews or dress rehearsals for some of the big shows where the big time Tony Award winning directors work with the actors. And it's so fascinating to watch them work and to hear the direction and to hear the wheels turning in the actor.
Yeah.
And to hear the adjustments being made.
Yeah.
And
it's
I
like
think,
epiphany. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I'd like to experience that before I die. And once in a while we get to do it. It's not that, I mean, everybody wants to do a good job. And even if it's somebody at the ad agency who pulled the short straw to direct the voice talent. Actually, there are some people very, very good at it.
Sure.
You know, it's a difference, and it's all about communicating, and it's building rapport with somebody, and somebody that you've never met. Yeah. You don't know their work, and maybe they might not have been your first choice.
Right. True.
No, and sometimes they forgive you for not being their first choice, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, right. Well, our favorite guy wasn't available, so we brought you in. Great.
Why can't you be more like him?
I'm sorry. Well, speaking of working and, you know, doing what we do and what you do, playing woodwind instruments all the time, were you used to the idea of keeping yourself hydrated like, you know, voice actors do all the time? I mean, first thing in the morning, I get up and I down a whole one of these just to try to replace what was lost during the night. Through multiple trips to the bathroom. Oh my God, I barely slept. But, you know, was that already ingrained in you being a musician?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's better. It makes everything better. And it makes, I find if I'm more hydrated, I get less gurgles, especially if you play the oboe. The keys are so tiny and they get wet, gurgly so often.
I see.
So I find if I'm hydrated like a voice talent, which you can't be if you're playing a show, because you can't get up and go to the bathroom. And even at intermission, there's a line. So
right.
It's,
I mean, even in the backstage bathrooms, all the actors are trying to get in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's definitely a thing, especially if you're playing a long show.
Yeah.
And you do not get up and leave the pit unless, unless you're bleeding profusely, that you just don't get up and leave the pit.
Right.
So yes, it's funny. I never talked to another actor about hydrating, but it's a lot. And then if you're driving to the session,
Oh,
like immediately you get there and think you hate to, if you're a guest in someone's home, you don't immediately ask, "Where's your restroom?"
that's the thing. I mean, the first thing I look for whenever I'm at a session in somebody else's studio that somebody else's is, where's the restroom? I gotta hit the head before we get to chit chatting, and because all the
Right?
way
Because
there,
I've been up at 6 drinking water.
yeah. I'm like a water balloon right now, about to pop. So where do I go?
Yeah, yeah. And I worry, just like, do they think I have a medical issue or are they used to it? Everyone's very nice and never comments, but
Right,
where
right.
is it? Where? Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Nice to see you.
Uh, now, speaking of working from home and and the joys of having a restroom at your whenever it's always available and you don't have to make excuses
Awesome.
to anybody. Yeah. What now are you're sitting in what looks like a booth. Do you have is it an isolation booth that you work in typically?
I have a whisper room in my garage. Yes, I
Oh,
live
okay.
in the burbs. I can have a whisper room. I love this. I've had various setups that have worked pretty well,
Yeah.
actually.
Uh,
When I lived in a condo and I first started doing auditions from home, I had an IKEA room divider, and I
okay.
stitched some foam mattress pads into it, and it made a fantastic booth. It did have one cat that liked to climb it when I was working,
Yeah.
and I had to unplug the refrigerator because it was
Oh,
really
yeah.
noisy. But sound wise, it was fantastic, and maybe even a little better than this. But I do love my whisper room. I was using a closet for a while,
Yeah.
um, but it's too noisy. It's just too noisy. And if you live in a house with other creatures,
Yes.
humans or animals, they need none of them respect your need for quiet.
No, no, and they think they're being quiet,
Yeah,
especially the humanoids,
yeah,
who understand such requests like, "Hey, I gotta record, please be quiet." They don't understand what quiet really means.
right.
What are you gonna
It's
do? I
low.
mean,
The TV's low. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What are you gonna? And I live. This was maybe not the most brilliant choice for a voice actor, but I bought a house near the airport.
SFO.
I live near SFO, practically at the end of the runway, because that was nothing's affordable, but
No,
it was doable, and it's a
yeah,
nice neighborhood. But I'm interrupted constantly, even with the whisper room. But the
I
whisper room gives me just a couple extra seconds.
yeah, right, exactly, exactly. Like, the plane doesn't have to be completely out of the Bay Area for you to be able to hit record and, get back to it.
Right, right, and it has been quite very. It's a shame that work has been so slow, because now I could do sessions because the air traffic has been very quiet. It is starting to ramp up a little bit, but
Yeah.
yes, it's been. I mean, we have not been interrupted by an airplane, because you can hear
Oh,
it. It's pretty loud, even in my booth in the garage.
wow, that's
It's
amazing.
loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so irritating. But well, speaking now, okay, now imagining getting back to life COVID free, and you're doing
Hmm.
your voiceover work, and you're back in the orchestra pit, and you're teaching music lessons to students and things. That's a lot to wrangle. I mean, because that's
Yes.
it's evenings and daytime performances that you're having to play in. It's voiceover work, which is mostly during the day, mostly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you? That's a lot of professional stuff to be juggling. Do you find it difficult to put some put it all aside and get back to a sort of a private life?
Oh, I have no private life.
Okay.
So that's, and I was like, I don't have kids. I
Yeah.
don't know how people do either one of those careers with kids. They do.
Yeah.
And I've met their kids. Their kids are nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be so lucky. My husband is a drummer.
Oh, really?
So
Does he also work
yes.
in the theater world?
No, he does some. He
Okay.
doesn't do a lot. Most of the shows carry their own drummer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Most of the
Interesting.
tours carry their own drummer and keyboard players. They might hire one local keyboard player and maybe like a lead trumpet or something. So he does some. He works a lot in Sacramento.
Oh.
He does music circus in Sacramento.
Oh,
but
I see.
But he plays a lot of jazz. He has a much more varied diet than I do.
I see. Right.
Musically. Right. But so no, there's always something hanging over my head. Like, oh, I've got to get those auditions done. My agent usually wants them in at 10 or 9 in the morning.
Right.
It would be nice to be able to come home at 11:30 midnight and record, but it's just,
you're
even
burned
if
out.
I think I'm sounding good, I sound great, boy, the recording tells a different story.
Sorry, Dana, you need to go to bed now.
Honey, go to bed. No one wants to hear that. So it's a constant time management thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just weekdays, it's weekends. I didn't even think about that.
Weekends.
Weekend performances and wow, that's a lot.
Weekends.
But it's
a lot.
It is a lot, but at least it's all fun. Oh, now my dog's barking. At least it's all fun, but still, it's still work,
Yes, it's still work, and you have to. It's like whack-a-mole. It's like professional whack-a-mole. Oh, I got to play a lot of oboe today, but these because I didn't have any auditions. So there's always one up, one down. Oh, I was in the booth for hours, didn't get to practice. Oh, well. It's just, I think it all comes out in the wash. And there are times when especially if I'm working a lot, I think my neighbors know it because the yard is in complete disarray and the house looks haunted. But the bank knows I'm working. So
right. Well, okay. Now, like I asked you about your professional sort of highlight before, has there been a particularly embarrassing or funny moment that where things went awry but was just like a funny story that you can tell? And feel free to open this up to the music world too, because that's just even more fodder for potential goof ups and embarrassing moments and things like anything you'd like that you'd like to share.
Oh, well, my favorite one where I could not do my job. I did this funny, maybe this is why I don't get to do funny stuff. There was this funny Subway ad that was it was a court case. And I think I was the witness testifying. I could not say marinara. I can say it now. It's so pretty, marinara. It rolls off the tongue. I could not say, and meatball marinara.
During the session.
They had to change it to tuna. And it was at Ed Bogus' studio. And Ed Bogus, all the musicians in town know him. He produced all the Garfield, the music for Garfield, and he's a big music producer. And so I've actually played oboe for him for other things. And I don't know if he remembers me as the lady who couldn't say marinara, but
God, that is so funny. So they changed it to tuna.
They changed it to tuna. And then there was another one a couple of years ago, and I won't say the name of the product.
Okay.
But it was like for a product launch for them, and like a website that was going to be, I don't know, a kiosk at a convention. Again, we don't know what it's for. I don't know what you're doing with this, but it's not my problem. But well, I'll call them Acme, and it was for Acme widgets, and it was one of those things being directed by a director in the Midwest who was having a bad day, I think, before I showed up, and then it got worse. But and there was a delay on the line, which always makes it sound like people are mad at you.
Right.
But Okay, and the new Acme doobie flotchet. Don't say Acme. It's Acme. Acme. Acme? Acme. You're saying Acme. We need you to say Acme.
Oh, I've had that. Oh, it's the worst.
And there were 19 pages.
Oh no. Oh God. That's
To this
terrible.
day, I don't get it. I am thinking just because I'm used to dealing with people, with sounds all day, basically, I might be able to find a way to explain it
Yeah.
but he was just frustrated and who
Yes.
knows what was going on. I don't know, but.
Oh, I had the same situation happen when I was working for a theme park in Florida, where they wanted me. It was the tagline, and we went over this tagline for probably a half an hour, and it was like 5 words tops. And I finally asked him to say it, and I would mimic him. And I swear I'm pretty good at mimicking, and I was nailing what he was telling me, and it was still wrong. It was like, well, there's a certain number of ways to say these 5 words, but I'll just keep babbling on to you until we're done. It's like, yeah, no, I
Did you
get it.
did you have to banish thoughts of, you know what, I quit. This career is not for me. What was going on in your head during that?
It was more thoughts of first degree murder. Could I reach through the ISDN line that I was on and wrap my hands around this guy's neck? It was funny because this was the ad agency person directing me, but the company, the theme park client was on the line too, and he and I were more in sync than I was with the director. I know that the theme park guy was totally fine with everything, but this guy there was just some weird nuance that I wasn't capturing, and to this day I still don't know what it was, but I guess it worked and it went on air and all that stuff, but it was murder. I didn't want to quit voiceover. I wanted to murder somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe just fantasy, obviously.
Yeah. And then you're trying to, and if it's for a theme park or for Acme widgets, and they say,
Right.
more smile. Don't say it like that.
How's this smile?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't want to take up any more of your time today, Dana. How do people get a hold of you? What would you like? Are there plugs? Plug yourself. Are there websites, email? How do people get a hold of you to find out about either you as a musician or you as a voice actor?
I have a website, a newly revamped. I've had it for years. It was like a haunted house. I never went there. And it's pretty scant. I've been going, other people's websites are pretty fantastic. Mine is pretty,
it just gets to the point. It just gets to the point. Yeah.
Come for the info, stay for the changing hairstyles and fluctuating weights.
So what is it? What is it?
DanaBauer.com.
Hey, that's catchy.
Yeah. And I've got an
it.
album. I have an album an album for sale. That
Good.
tells you how old it is. But you can also get my album on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever music is not sold these days. But yeah, give it a listen. It's about 15 years old. I was very proud of how it came out. And
cool.
Next one I do will be way different, but
yeah,
enjoy that. I've got some ancient demos. And
excellent.
No examples of me playing because you can't record a show. Really,
well, yeah,
because of copyright laws, but you'll just have to take my word for it.
Well, there are some really fantastic things of you playing on like Facebook where you're doing duets with yourself, and
yes.
those are great fun to watch and listen to. Very cool stuff.
Oh, thank you. Those are really, really fun to do. And so, yeah, just friend me on Facebook, and when I drop another one every couple months, because they take a bit, but they're
Yeah.
but they're really fun. Yeah, give those a listen too. Sure.
Yeah,
That's
very
what I
cool.
have to plug. And just, if you've
Great.
got work, I'm free.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Dana. I really appreciate you coming on today.
Great to see you, Jan.
Great to see you too. I hope we get to work together, if not at that big company, down there, then in some other way.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen,
Make it
take
happen.
care. Have a happy 4th of July.
You too. All right.
All right.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks, Jan.
Bye.
Bye.